Hey everybody, Brian from Variable Traders here. It is the weekend. It's March 20th and hope everyone's having a good weekend. This of course is the weekend video where we'll take a look at what happened last week. Big week for the bulls. And we'll try to figure out where things might be going next week after this rebound and seemingly some break and downtrend that we've been seeing over the last little while. So let's get into it. And we'll start out by taking a look at what happened last week here. We had the risk-on trade came back. All the markets put in a great performance. Look at this, the Dow up 5.5. Qs were the big winner. The technology sector primarily up almost 8.5%. Even the S&P up over 6. Just a monster week. And areas of strength and weakness, interestingly, consumer discretionary made a big comeback. Of course, tech, financial, strong, probably on rising interest rates. Energy was the only red sector last week, and of course it had a big run up, and now we've gotten that pullback after that really extended gain. The 10-year treasuries, as I mentioned, interest rates were up, both the 2-year and the 10-year, and they're sort of getting closer together here. Everybody's always watching this for an inversion, or when the 2-year gets higher than the 10, sort of often a sign of a pending recession. Not always, but people do keep an eye on that. And the US dollar, we had a bit of a pullback week, but we were well off the lows of the week. And as always, before we get into the charts, let's take a quick look. This is the ad section of my video where we just check out my book on Amazon, How to Swing Trade, Rules, Routines, Strategies of a Swing Trader. If you have not checked it out yet, it's there on Amazon. All right, so let's start looking at some charts. As always, we'll start out looking at the treasuries, the 2s and the 10s. You can see here, 2s just continue to go higher, 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 and getting closer and closer to that 10-year rate. Did get a little bit of a pullback on the 10-year. So again, that drew us even closer to that closure between the two. So keeping an eye on that. And again, transports on the day. We had 3 monster days and a fairly decent day on Friday, an inside day. Finished at the high of the day. It was a little bit lower than Thursday, but not all down days are made alike here, and this one is not necessarily a bad thing. We did, again, as I said, close at or near the high of the day there. So on a weekly basis, again, big move up, big move out of these through these 2 moving averages. Really nice move on the transports, on some decent volume as well there. So transports looking good. And the Dow, let's get into the indexes here. You can see we had this down day Monday, but then Tuesday to Friday we just ripped higher. We tore through some moving averages. We're coming up on the 200, coming up on this trend line on the daily. And again, just looking to recapture these moving averages here on the Dow. So it'll be interesting to see if we can actually do a continuation move higher here. There is some resistance by the looks of things up around this area, but we could easily be heading back to 36,000, and you can see here the volume was pretty good. Momentum indicators are looking decent. MACD, histogram turning to the upside, same with the stochastics, RSI heading higher, above 50 now, so the trend is looking good. Again, sort of same comments on the Qs. Don't want to keep repeating myself, but I probably could here. You can see stochastics looking good. All the momentum indicators looking good. 4 days in a row of great volume, and again, we're coming sort of back up into this sort of, I'm going to call it 350s, 360 area here, which could be some resistance at these moving averages and this prior low here. So on the spiders, again, sort of same comments. Again, don't want to keep repeating myself here, but yeah, you can see here we've had a really nice move back up last week, and just right back into some areas where we're just below some levels of resistance. But it seems like the buyers are back. The IWM, you can see again, as I mentioned here, we've trading in this range. We did hold this lower level here. We're right back up at areas where we've pulled back before. So again, if we have some decent days in the early part of the week, we could actually be heading back up higher to sort of this level here, where we broke down from, sort of 210, 212 area. And again, looking very strong on the weekly. The VIX, not surprisingly, sold off pretty hard through the week, and especially on Friday. Usually Fridays are a down day for the VIX anyway, but we could be heading back down to this 200-day moving average on the VIX. Dollar, again, as I was saying, the dollar was weak on the day, and on the week overall it was weak as well. So we had a bit of a pullback on the dollar after a big move up. Bitcoin had a really nice move here during the week and came right back up to this sort of 42,000 level area. Again, it's an area where it's not pulling back from it, but it's not breaking out here on the weekend so far. So be keeping an eye on that and see if we get a move. But it's sort of a do or die location for Bitcoin, and then if we can get that punch through that level, then 44,000 will be the next area you can watch for a move on that one. So yeah. And let's finish off with a couple of stocks that I'm watching for next week here. Apple, always keeping an eye on Apple. Had a really nice comeback here last week, and you can see here we're getting up into an area right at this 167 sort of 50 area. We've also got a moving average here. That looks like it's going to be resistance. You can see it was support here, broke down here, came back up, resistance again here. So 167.50 could be an area to keep an eye on if we break out of it or if we just reject from it. But again, good volume on Friday. Can I say that? Momentum indicators looking good. Amazon, we are back up. Here's another stock that might be pushing up into some resistance here. This 3,300 level on Amazon. Just remember, we are getting that split later in the year. So 20 for 1. And again, this 3,300 level, also this 200-day moving average pretty close to that. So again, could be an area to definitely watch there. Strong week, as with most stocks. And uranium, I'm still in uranium. I'm actually in this stock here, CCJ. I really like uranium as an alternative energy play. It's not really an alternative energy, but it's, the future to get us through to more, more environmentally friendly alternative energies. And yeah, so uranium, I think uranium, some of the plants they were considering taking offline, now they're considering keeping going just because of the energy shortages that we seem to be encountering. And this one looks good. It's right at this 28 level, and I'm looking for a break above that next week. PayPal's had a really interesting run. You can see here back in October we just had a sell-off, and then we had this earnings report that was a complete and utter disaster by this huge gap down, and then it just continued to sell where it got down to under $100 there, and we've had this bottoming action here where it's just held the 90, and now we've had this huge run back up. I'm not sure if this is just a short squeeze, but certainly there's some going to be some resistance here around 130 if we even get up that high. But PayPal, another one, interesting one to watch. Shop kind of looks the same as PayPal in some degree, but we did definitely break some of these sort of downtrend lines, and it's back up into an area where I would say there'll probably be some resistance, some around 800, 810 in this area here, where you can see we tried to hold and then gap down through. So this gap fill, it's not really a gap fill, just because of all this action, not a clean gap fill, but again, an area to watch for on Shop 800. I'm watching silver and gold. We're really getting a big pullback after this monster move here, and there's just not a lot of follow through. We did have sort of I'm going to call this a lower high. And again, we seem to be struggling here right at this level of support, which is 22, sort of 2270, 2260, somewhere in this area anyway. Definitely seem to be struggling here. If we do end up breaking down, we could drop a lot further here with 2230 moving average on the 200-day. So keeping an eye on silver. Square, here's another one that just made a monster move here. You could almost, this isn't really that clean a head and shoulders, but there's your one shoulder, there's your head, there's your other shoulder, and now we're kind of breaking out here. But we have broken through this area I'm going to call it sort of the neckline area, or this area of prior resistance here and here. We have broken out above there. It's made a big move in these last couple of days. Probably got more upside, but maybe to the 150, 160 level, somewhere around there. But big move on Square, on building volume too. So interesting move on Square. Tesla made this, recaptured the 900, then the magic 900 number we keep talking about in the room. Looks like 1,000 or yeah, $1,000 could be, well, certainly 950 is going to be an area here. It's some resistance. Then we're going to get to 1,000, be another area of significant resistance. Might be an actual interesting play just to sell some calls at 1,000, and hope they don't get there before they expire. Collect the premium on that, which usually the premium on Tesla is really good. I've done that in the past. URA, just another way to play uranium, same as CCJ. USO, you can see here, I just, was kind of interesting. I put up a Fibonacci retracement here. So from this low all the way up to this high, and really we just retraced 50% of the gain here, almost to the penny. So always kind of interesting to see. Sometimes when you get huge moves, it's interesting to throw up Fibonacci's and just see where the levels come out. But anyway, yeah, so we had this big retracement, sort of 50% from this big run up here. So we'll be keeping an eye on energy. Certainly I don't think the energy situation has gone away. And this is a sector that I'm kind of interested in that's been really breaking out here. It's probably one of the best looking sectors when you look at all of them, all of the charts. This XLV, I think it's got room to go higher. You've got stuff like UNH and Lilly, they're performing very well. So you can just see here this healthcare sector is sometimes a bit of a defensive sector as well, but it looks like it could easily get back up to this 140, 141 level on XLV. Could play that with options, or you could see what it does on Monday. If it pulls back a bit, maybe take it for a long. So again, momentum indicators. It's looking a little overbought here on stochastics. Might wait for a bit of a pullback here, but I think the trend is probably going to continue to be higher on the healthcare sector. And that's it for some of the stocks I'm watching. So just wrapping things up here, as I mentioned, with all the indexes, the Dow, we did get support 33,000, regained and held that, and now we're back up over, we're at 34,750. Resistance probably 35 and then 36K, but again, looking like we might be heading there. The Qs, again, held support at 320. We're at 351 now. Looks like next resistance probably around 360. Support, again, with the S&P 420 held. And you can see there, next level 454. Could be resistance at the 20 SMA. And IWM, still looking at that 195 support, but now we're back up over 200, 207 to be exact. Next resistance in that area of 210. Economics, really nothing of note. Of course, we've still got this horrific Russia-Ukraine situation going on, and see what happens there. Hopefully there's some kind of peaceful resolution. For earnings, we do have some earnings here that are kind of interesting. PDD, this Pinocchio, one of the Chinese stocks, before the market opened. Then we've got Time Warner and Nike after the market closed Tuesday or Monday, and then Tuesday we've got Carnival, and then Adobe after the market closed, and then on Wednesday we've got JKS, Solar, and TCOM. So should be interesting start to the week, and again, I'd watch for some strength as we maybe continue to go higher. So have a good rest of the weekend, everybody, and as always, we will be starting live on YouTube 8 in the morning, and then if you're a member with us, you'll be able to trade the market open at 9:30, and so we'll see you all hopefully at one or more of those events. Have a great rest of the weekend, everyone. Bye for now.